A message for my people.
Nick Dad, baby. We the new label.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
Now this the black sheep sticking its home. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my pockets
that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see, they told me I'm the one
Yes.
that's
What's good,
benefit.
everybody? Welcome back to Veterans Minimum, the number one sports betting vibe on the planet. I'm your host, Nick Dais, at Nick Dais 10 News. You can find me, all things Veterans Minimum, as you can see on the screen. Shout out to Isaiah and Jory in the control room. The A-team
A-team.
in the building. All things Veterans Minimum are at Veterans Minimum. To my left, top one bald guys on the planet in my life.
That's what
Mr.
I
George
do.
Carmona.
How we
Today,
do. Yes.
producer George Carmona.
Today, curator of the goods. Yes. And what I considered a relatively slow day in the sports media world has turned into something very juicy. So we do got some good topics. But, bro, people are more so looking forward to the picks.
Yeah.
I got some good picks this week, Nick.
Yeah, the picks the picks are going to be great. The picks have been great. Shout out to everyone listening, watching, consuming the content, however you might be consuming the content on all social media outlets. Shout out once again to George. I got a text I got to read you.
Okay.
This is from a buddy of mine back home.
All right.
My friend Brandon. Yo, your boy, the bald-headed dude on your show is fire. That's the best co-host you've had.
Who is this?
My buddy Brandon.
Brandon, my dog.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, Brandon. Thank you. Thank you for letting Nick know that.
And he also
Is he in
said
the? Is he in the? Oh, okay. Finish. What do
he
you
also
say?
said, you got to get your picks right, bro. Step up.
Now, Brandon, it's the truth. I'm not gonna.
Bro, we're coming off a pretty good week. Like, listen, is
No,
the bar
Nick.
is set so high.
You had a good week.
Yeah.
I've had back-to-back bad weeks.
Yeah.
So like this, I know he's like he wants the best for me.
Yeah.
I have something so good for him for the picks today that it will make up for 2 weeks of shit.
Dude, when
Stay tuned.
we first started doing Veterans Minimum back in the day, and I was doing the show with a couple other guys, we were doing 3 picks a week to end the show.
Mm-hmm.
First year, 2015, 73% against the spread.
Wow.
I came out fucking dick down to the ankle, let everyone know what we were working with. And ever since then, they're like, this is the betting guy. This is the betting guy. And, you know, we've been over like 50% since, way over 50. Like, very good against the spread record. However, it always happens, bro. The week that people tap it, when you have a good week, and this is what happened to you. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you noticed it, but you hit Taysom Hill. Of
Yeah.
course, we didn't have footage.
Crazy.
We
Did
didn't
we
have
say
footage
A-team?
then.
I mean B team.
That was like a C- team that day, bro.
JV.
But we're back. We're
Yeah.
back with the A team. But the Taysom Hill, you give out 16-1.
Yes.
When you hit a crazy prop and then you get some attention on social media, the very next week it always goes bad.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yo, bro, you're catching on to the wave late. I've noticed that we get more Patreon members. Shout out to the Patreon. 81 paid members right now. Listen,
we go.
$1. We got 2 $5 tiers and we got 3 new $1 members.
I love both of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's growing. Nick, at the beginning of the football season, we were at 60.
Yeah.
Now we've climbed our way up. Super Bowl time, get to $100. We are going to work our way through the $1 to be your guys' lucky charm. Really, you put $1 into the wishing well that is Veterans Minimum, and it'll come back to you in weird ways.
Yeah.
In weird ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to start the show by asking you,
Mm-hmm.
we haven't talked much NBA on the show.
Yeah.
And I was watching the other night. It was on here in the studio. And it was the Suns and the Lakers. And this clip has been going viral on social media. The NBA is in a really bad place. It probably has the most star power it's had in a very long time. Like, I think you can make a case that every single NBA team, with the exception of, like, the Wizards, have a guy that you're like, yo, I'd pay money to see.
Mm-hmm.
I really think every single team has one guy like that, right? Maybe you're into Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole. Maybe those could be your guys, and that's why you're watching the Wizards. However, this video has gotten over 50 million views on X.
It's terrible.
And why don't you watch the NBA anymore? This is why. It's basically the Suns and the Lakers are going back and forth on the court, and it looks like a YMCA pickup basketball game. LeBron takes a 40-foot three-pointer, misses. D'Angelo Russell, the ball ends up to him. He takes a three, misses. Bradley Beal comes down. He takes a three, misses. They miss layups. And it's a perfect example of why the NBA is in the situation it's in right now and why a lot of people are fed up with the NBA. Between the stars sitting, load management. Dude, I think NBA betting, if you bet on the regular season NBA, you are a psychopath. I think it's that and baseball are the two worst sports to bet on.
I would like baseball better than basketball.
At least in baseball.
Starting pitcher, you can get the first 5 bets in that are pretty solid. But I agree with you. Yeah, past a certain point of knowing you're going to get max effort from these players, then yeah, you're really just betting on everybody that's on the bench.
It's that, but at least you know fucking Aaron Judge is going to play if he's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Ohtani's going to play if he's healthy.
Very true.
The pitcher is going to pitch every 5 games if he's healthy. The ace that you're paying $40 million. Bro, in the NBA, it was so frustrating when I'd be on the East Coast and I'd play daily fantasy, or if I'd make any bets or any prop bets, and 7:09 right before tip-off, you get the alert. Embiid's sitting, rest. And you're like, I just took the Sixers -8. That bet is now washed if he's out. I took under on Tobias Harris. I'm saying back then, Tobias Harris rebounds. Well, now he's probably going to go over the rebounds because if you look at the per 36, whenever Embiid's not in the lineup, Harris gets 3 more. So it just alters everything, and it happens every single night, bro. I'm watching the Knicks more than ever because there's a lot of hope and optimism coming into the year with the Knicks. Speaking of the Sixers, my favorite bet on the planet was they're under 50.5 wins, and I think they only have 4 wins this year. They're pretty down bad.
That's terrible.
Right? And I think that clip, bro, and it's going to be playing as you're watching this, is a big picture clip that could summarize why the NBA is in the state that it's in right now. So I know I've just been rambling. How do you feel about the current product?
Well, it's just a race to try to keep up with the Celtics. The Celtics last year were on that historic 3-point setting pace that everybody in the NBA now is trying to copy. And it really did start, obviously, with the Warriors, with the Splash Bros. But now this product that is being put out there, it looks so lackadaisical and so far from the fundamentals of basketball that I haven't watched any of the NBA. I figure if you're a team that plays any sort of defense, because in the clip that you saw right here, you saw many screens in which players were so late to you're not fighting over it as hard as you would, obviously, when it comes to playoff time. But that's why it's got to be examined that they go to some type of shorter season, bro. Or the in-season cup. It's got to just be like a bigger tournament that's 3 big tournaments throughout the season. How do you get these players motivated? Obviously, the Cup does a little bit of that. Do you do a second one on the back half of the year? Obviously, at that point in time, though, you got the playoff matchups that everybody's racing for. But we just wait until that point where defense cranks up a little bit, and that's when you can start accurately betting these teams. It's shitty. It looks like middle school girls basketball. I would expect that from them. Or a all-star game in which they just don't care about the defense. They were also down by 30 right there in the Lakers game, right? So,
bro, this has been the case for years now. I would always talk about this, how if you if you just told me that this team was going to hit 15 threes, they're probably going to win by 20.
Mhm.
And if you just look at the last, since the Splash Brothers, which was always one of my favorite takes, I found it so comical. Like, bro, listen, man. I just think sometimes things are really obvious. We just got to make it complex, whether it's sports, life, relationships, whatever it might be. Everyone is saying you got to shoot more threes because Golden State did it. Well, they got the 2 best shooters ever. And then they added Durant, who's probably the best big man 3-point shooter ever. So, yeah, it's going to work when you have those guys. But when you don't have those kind of shooters and you have volume, cold streak, hot streak shooters, yeah, it's not going to look the same. And then that's why a lot of playoff games or a lot of basketball games in general, you just could tell right away, like, oh, this team came out, they're 0 for 10 from 3. It's going to be a blowout one way or another. And it's just gotten so bad, bro. You're watching it, you're like, ah, damn. Even the Knicks the other night, the Knicks beat the Nuggets by like 30. You're like, this isn't fun. This isn't watchable. You know what this would never happen, ever happen, because there's too much money involved. But are you familiar with how soccer does it in Europe? As far as like declaring the winner of their league?
No.
So what they do is they start in August, they end in May, right? So let's just use the English Premier League, for example. You play every team twice, home and away. You know your schedule. You know when you're playing them. If you win a game, you get 3 points. If you tie a game, you get 1 point. If you lose, you get 0 points. And then you have goal differential. That's the tiebreaker.
Okay.
So goals for, goals against. And at the end of the season, whoever has the most points in the table, the standings, but in Europe they call it the table, that's your winner of your league. Imagine if the NBA did that, where they're like, yo, listen, you know how we're going to play? Best team in the regular season. Instead, what we're going to do is instead of playing 82 games, we'll play 90, we'll extend it, or we'll play 100, but there's no playoffs. And you're going to play every team in the league, you're going to play them 4 times. 2 home, 2 away. At the end of the year, who has the most points? Who has the most wins? That's your NBA champion. That would prevent load management. We're playing in DC tonight on Tuesday. We don't want to play. Again, this is never going to happen.
Right.
But this would be an option. If we were fantasy booking how we can change and make the NBA more compelling, there's one way. Because, bro, they're making so much money that, like...
Yeah, they're not going to change anything.
Yeah,
if anything, they're going to add more games, just like how you're saying.
Like, bro, last year I remember when the Pacers were in the NBA Cup against the Lakers. I remember I bet the Pacers because of their 15-man roster. Like, 8 of them were making the league minimum or rookie deals. And if you won that, you made $500,000. So I'm like, oh, bro, talk about a team that has incentive to win. If I'm making $2 million in 2023, but I win this one game, I make $500,000. That's a quarter of my salary. Yeah, I'm going to go a little crazier.
Facts.
And they ended up losing anyway. But, like, that was my thought process behind making that bet. So for these guys, like, you can't tell LeBron and AD, like, yo, bro, here's a $500,000. It's going to really... Even though they won it last year, it's just not motivating. Like, you can't motivate these guys with money. So I don't know what the answer is, but the product has gotten real bad. And I love this clip. It's so true, man. The amount of playoff games, I think they've said in the last 10 years that there's been more 20-point playoff wins than the entire 2000 to like 2012.
Jesus.
Because now it's over, bro.
Yeah, if you're not...
But, you know, on the flip side, too, to defend it, just to play devil's advocate, you also see it a lot where, like, when your team is down 25, it's not really over. Because all you need to do is that one quarter, you would see the Warriors do it all the time. Dude, the best bet in sports betting for, like, a 6-year stretch, second half Golden State, third quarter Golden State. The amount of like 40-18 outscoring a team in the third quarter, because Steve Kerr and those guys were known for like the second half adjustments or halftime adjustments. Bro, it was like every single game, especially if they were down, live bet them and bet them third quarter. It was like 95%. It felt that way. It wasn't 95.
Right.
It just felt like, oh, bro, that's a lock.
Yeah, basketball's changed a lot. You see it in college basketball, which is the last true form of basketball, in which you see sets run, which you see tough defense played. Obviously, the court's a little more condensed, but like that's a basketball style that you see though come playoff time, when it's like you need to go get a basket. You start seeing teams get a little more intricate. But like that's just like schoolyard bullshit right there. We did that in elementary school on the playground. I would drop 20 in 5th grade. I was cold. That's what that looks like. At least all the other kids. I was hitting my shots.
Yeah.
Except for these guys.
Yeah. Do you think there's anything to do with the NBA struggling because of how many international superstars they have? Like the last 5 NBA MVPs have not been Americans.
Yeah.
So do you think that has something to do with it?
Definitely. But I think the NBA has such a intriguing product from the months of April to, I mean, what is it, middle of June?
Yeah.
That they're comfortable with that. Like they understand that they're going to dominate that time period. They don't even dominate the time period of March, right? That's dedicated to college basketball. January, February is football. They're fine with owning that. And as a matter of fact, they love it so much, Nick, that they've like really, I feel, sensationalized July once free agency hits. It's like the only storyline that pops off. So you can extend that timeline from April to July. They're fine. They don't care if Giannis or Jokic or Embiid keep winning these titles, which, by the way, I figure voter fatigue for the foreigners this year. Look into that. I don't know who's the front runner for MVP right now, but give me an American.
So I'm pulling that up right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, talk about voter fatigue. He's having a better year through 20 games than he had in his previous MVP seasons, and that's God. Jokic. He's the favorite, and it's followed by the following players, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have Jokic, you have Tatum, Anthony Davis, Giannis, and SGA. And then the next 5 is Durant, Wemby, Mitchell, Curry, LaMelo. Bro, you know what's crazy, dude? I bet Ja Morant 100-1. And then he had like a 3-game stretch where he was going fucking bananas. He was going crazy. And then he got hurt. I was like, fuck, man. And he dropped down to like 25-1. I got the cash out, but I didn't do it because I don't wear 3 condoms when I have sex. But then it went back up to like 200-1. So maybe I should have put on 3 rubbers for that one.
Yeah. You will see Jason Tatum somehow at the end of the season win this MVP award. Voter fatigue and the foreigner. Nick, you're onto something here. Maybe that's what's ruining the NBA. What's really ruining the NBA is maybe roster size. Like maybe they need to increase the roster size so these players can actually play defense. You know what I mean? That's the one thing that really wears these players down. They're not bothered by having to go put up buckets. They're bothered about having to get down in a defensive stance and fight over screens. Like that shit sucks. But maybe if, you had a team of 25, they're all 20 years old anyways. You could start seeing some extended life for these NBA players. Maybe that's the answer.
Yeah, it's just so weird, man. Like you look at it, the top 5, only Tatum is American. I mean, SGA is Canadian. Jokic, Luka, Giannis. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a really interesting conversation. I've hit a couple of NBA MVPs before. I had Curry. Should have had Harden, bro. The year
Russ won it?
Russ won it,
Yeah.
Everyone that listens to VM that's been listening since then, they're like, Nick, let it go. I can't let it go. I won't let it go. Still hurts. 20-1 James Harden, bro. I had $300 on it.
Holy shit.
This is back when I was making like $500 a week.
Wow.
So that was a nice flip if it would have hit. So yeah, I am salty for that. But let us know. Let us know in the comments what you guys think. Hit us in the Discord, hit us on social media, comment on this post. What do you guys think is the big issue with the NBA? Because this seems to be a big issue with the NBA. And I've said this time and time again. I think the NBA has done a really good job of creating storylines within the product that make it captivating. That's why we're talking about NBA MVP fucking 10 games into the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this all started, I'll stand by this, this all started when the Cavs and Warriors were duking it out in the mid 2010s because everyone, the consensus was like, I mean, I used to have this issue on the show. Like, I was really in love with the NBA back then, right? And a lot of the guys would be like, dude, why do we got to talk about the NBA?
You know who it's going to be.
It's going to be the Warriors and the Cavs. All right, let's do NBA ladder. Who's your NBA MVP favorite? Who's your rookie of the year? Fake trades, right? You know, you saw the videos when I was working with Chat Sports. I was covering the Knicks when they won 17 games and Porzingis tore his ACL. You know what every video was? How do we get Giannis? How do we get LeBron? How do we get Durant? Can we get Zion in 2 years from now and shit? Because he was fucking going viral. So it's the NBA, but it does a good job, like how we opened up this conversation about the NBA has so many stars right now, and they're amazing and they're super talents, and some of the shit that they do is nuts. Like, it's probably the most athletic the league has ever been.
Mm-hmm.
However, a lot of people feel that way. Like, bro, the Celtics are just gonna repeat. And what I would always say to that, to defend it, is like, bro, we watch football every Sunday, and we knew New England was gonna be in the AFC title game. Why doesn't that play a role? It's the same concept, right? Like, the Patriots were winning all those Super Bowls, but we didn't have no problem with the NFL. But the NBA in the 90s, the Bulls every year, through the roof. Everyone liked it. In the 80s, you know, the Lakers and Celtics represented the finals every single year of that decade. Like, either the Lakers or the Celtics were in the finals in the entire decade of the 80s. No one cared then. We knew who it was. And then the history of the NBA, I think 5 times in like 40 years has a non-top 6 favorite won it. And like 3 of them are in this millennium. So it's always like, bro, you look at if we look right now, George, looking at the standings, not the standings, the odds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your NBA champion's probably going to be the Celtics, Thunder, Knicks, Mavericks, or Cavs. Cavs and Nuggets, because they're both tied at the same. Like, the history of the league tells us that, like, yo, our champion is going to be here. And then you would have to go to whatever. These are the current odds. What were they in the preseason? The preseason, it's a preseason favorite. So there's just a lot of false narratives that kind of go around just to make people feel better about not consuming a product or consuming a product. So I'm fascinated by this conversation. Let us know what you guys think. All things Veterans Minimum are at Veterans Minimum. George, you've been producing the show, bro. Give us the next topic. What is it you want to discuss?
So Hard Knocks in season came out about the AFC North, and I just had some notes that I had to share from episode 1. So they filmed this past week of the NFL, which is really dope. So we got to see the Broncos take on the Browns is what this upcoming week's going to be about. But who just played this past week? You had the Steelers and the Bengals.
Yeah.
So they covered that game, as well as the Ravens game versus the Eagles, which looked terrible for Justin Tucker. It's awesome. This Hard Knocks, where you get the actual game planning, detailed information, and you get to see the way that these coaches guide their players into battle for a week, right? And just it's such a good insight for us football fans that have never gotten to experience that high level of football and a peek behind the curtains. And Hard Knocks in the regular season definitely does it. But once you get it in season, you get this feeling of like, bro, I have an edge because I know the way that the team's reacting to like these Monday meetings. And so that's what I'll start with, Nick. The Bengals have one of the worst looking meeting rooms I've ever seen in my entire life. It looks so cheap. It looks like they spent all their money on Joe Burrow, which they did. And so you got to figure that out, Bengals. Not saying that you need like a high-end meeting room, but you see what some of these colleges have, and then you see what the Bengals have, and you're like, you guys got to step it up. It looked pretty trashy. The biggest takeaway from this, though, is, Nick, I think the Steelers are for sure going to the Super Bowl.
Whoa.
I know it sounds nuts, but episode 1 convinced me. The Steelers are led by a war general. Mike Tomlin is not an NFL coach. He is a war general. The way that he embraces all of his players and the way that he can connect with all these different types of personalities, it's no secret when he's gone over 500 for 17 years in a row that this man is different. But when you see it in action in the middle of the season, the confidence he's given Russell Wilson, I am in love with where the Steelers are as an organization. And I think them beating the Bengals last week goes to show, dude. And the Bengals are legit on offense. They are. I mean, once we've talked about Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow so much, I don't need to go on. But for the Steelers to go toe to toe with them, that's kind of like a great vote of confidence that they can handle just about anything once it comes late in December, January.
I love what you're saying, because that was, I know we ended the show on Monday with that game. That was probably the biggest takeaway of the last 5 to 6 weeks, that they did go toe to toe. It was the most points ever scored in that matchup. I think Russell Wilson has opened up a lot of things for that offense. It's opened up Najee Harris as well. Mm-hmm. And then they have the defense that they could fall back on. And, you know, it's interesting because I feel like a lot of people the last couple of years felt as if the Steelers had a Super Bowl defense. They just couldn't find a quarterback. And it kind of reminded me of Brady going to Tampa. Just hear me out. Because the conversation around Russ, pretty false. He wasn't as bad as people made him out in Denver. You look at his numbers, they weren't bad. What was bad was how he looked doing it. He wasn't running around fucking spinning and shit like he was doing in the past, evading everybody. Like, he wasn't doing that.
Right.
It was very methodical, dink and dunk. It was a completely different Russell Wilson. He wasn't running around. So it looked like shit in Denver. But his numbers were good. And then I always like to buy stock in players that go to different teams and the culture is there and they have something that they're like, yo, bro, you're kind of the missing piece. And look, Mike Tomlin, I don't know if I remember correctly, if I agreed with him going to Justin Fields to Russell Wilson because they were playing well with him. But in the end, you got to remember that these guys are there with them all the time. So they see shit
that we don't.
Mm-hmm. You know, I would always say whenever Bill Belichick would let go of a free agent with no competitive, like no hesitation, I'm like, that's a red flag. Like, I don't want the guy that Bill Belichick doesn't want. And then you see they get overpaid in other places and then they wouldn't produce. So I say all that because, you know, we spoke about it on the show, how Steelers and the Packers, bro, those are the two teams that in my mind are identical to one another in the sense of I think they're both the sleeping giants in each of their conference. And I made that bet on Monday, 90-1 for that to be the Super Bowl matchup. I think both have a chance to, I think both match up well against anyone in their conference. Pittsburgh in particular, they have that defense travels. And like, bro, not for nothing, Russ been there, done that.
Facts.
Russ is not afraid of the big moment. He might be corny, he might be cringe, but yo, he got his swagger back with Tomlin and the Steelers. And that team is good, man. George Pickens, for as much of a headache he is a problem. He's going to beat your ass. Like
and that's the thing that is highlighted is the Bengals' first, big point of emphasis on Monday was if George Pickens gets going, we're screwed. And I always have heard like he's that high caliber of a player, but when you are that point of emphasis for the meeting, you definitely move up spots in my book. So George Pickens is nasty. The Steelers are a great football team. Mike Tomlin, when I say he's a war general, gave me an idea for content that we could do later on in the year, but we can break down which coaches are war generals, which coaches are player coaches, which coaches are specialists, and which coaches are tacticians. I think head coaches in the NFL fall into those 4 categories. And I just think that when you have a war general, it hits different. Dan Campbell, it hits different. I would, yeah. Those are the 2 for sure there. D'Amico Ryans, war general. So that's just a content idea for us. Not enough Jameis Winston from episode 1. They only showed him for like 3 minutes. He deserves his own HBO show.
Yo,
So you can't give him all the storylines.
I'm so glad you brought up Winston. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Because he's not like good,
No,
but he's fun.
of course.
Give me your top 3 favorite bad athletes. Like they're not a top 10, top 15 guy, but you just have an irrational love for them. Like they're fun to watch. They're crazy in the sense of like the way they perform. Like I used to feel this way about Jamal Murray.
Okay.
Like, there were times where I would watch, and I know Jamal Murray's won a ring, but I'm talking about prior to him winning a championship. This is like 2020, 2021. I'd be like, bro, you turn on a Nuggets game, you watch Jamal Murray, you might think he's the best point guard in the league. And then you'll watch him the next day, you're like, holy shit, this guy's going to get $200 million. He's going to fuck the whole franchise up. So he's like one of them, right? I used to love watching this soccer player called Gattuso. He played for AC Milan. He played defensive midfielder. He won a World Cup with Italy. Dude was a fucking psychopath. Would get red cards all the time, spit on people. But like, bro, he was just like, you just knew it was always going to be chaos when he was in a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I also played the same position as him on the field. So like, those are just a couple of guys that, you know, they never were going to be the best quarterback or the best player in the world, but you just had an irrational love for him. Because that's how I feel like about Jameis Winston.
Carson Wentz.
That's a good one.
Carson Wentz was known for like he's bound to make one Wentz play a game where he's throwing it into triple coverage. Yasiel Puig, the Cuban stallion, dude, the Cuban missile from the right field. He had an amazing start, and then he fucking sucked at the back half of his career. But I followed him on Instagram, and he was just dominating Japan baseball. Like he went overseas and created this whole new career for him. And now he's back to doing nothing. So those 2 for sure. I'm trying to think of a basketball player. Brian Scalabrine can fit in there. Yeah, the Red Mamba.
I was going to say J.R. Smith was one of mine, too.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, dude was just so... The ultimate, no, yes! When he did a jump shot all the time, bro. And there'd be, like, crazy stories of him partying in New York when he was with the Knicks. I mean, he won 6th Man of the Year. He was a part of that early 2010s team with Melo and those guys that made it to the second round. I was just curious, man, because like the more I watch Jameis, the more I like root for him, but I know it's just the Jameis experience, right? Like the Monday Night Football game was the ultimate definition of, you want to describe Jameis Winston to someone that don't know football, be like, yo, just watch that game.
Mm-hmm.
One drive, he looks like the MVP. And then the other time, you're like, yo, bro, this guy's going to be in the XFL next year.
Very true.
He's your boy,
he went 30 for 31 season for a reason. Like he's one of one, and the fact that the Saints gave him up is still one of the worst moves in franchise history. How do you get rid of that guy for the culture? Can you imagine him with the Rizzler? Dennis Allen was such a Debbie Downer, dude. He made Jameis Winston feel sad.
Yeah.
Think about how tough that is. But hey, we don't have to deal with that anymore. I was going to say one more player, Marcus Smart, I feel the same way about.
Nice.
Marcus Smart is, you just know it's going to be a big-time moment. There's going to be a guy open in the corner, and he's going to launch the 35-footer.
Bad, good guy.
Yeah.
Bad, good player.
Because right before that, he dove out of bounds after locking up their best player.
Yeah.
And he was just feeling himself. And the dude was be wide open in the corner, and Marcus just fucks it up.
Let's go ahead and do, I'm going to do some Patreon.
Okay.
Patreon.com/veterans minimum. Remember, for $1 American, you could pledge your allegiance to Veterans Minimum. Patreon.com/veterans minimum. Big ups to Daniel Gibson, Mahul Patel, Thomas Robinson, Abel Rezin, Ben Kotzian, Christopher Velasquez, Derek Platees, Devin Rendon, Dylan Chadwick, Jerry Shapiro, Jordan Riley, Mike Stevens, Nick Crummich, and to the newest members of the Patreon, we got Jose Blanco.
Oh, what a name.
Fire, bro.
Jose
Spanish
Blanco.
up. We got Thomas Robinson upgrading from franchise tag to the Supermax.
Whoa.
We got Alex Perez, and we got our boy Ross, Ross's boss, read up, now in the $10 tier. It's a lot of $1 bills that he's swinging this way. Patreon.com/veterans minimum. Let's go into Aaron Rodgers, and then we'll do the picks.
Okay.
I don't really care about that topic, honestly.
Gotcha.
Maybe we could save it for like a Monday show.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely been passed around. I think that's the comedy of it.
Yeah, clearly.
And now she's,
all right, go to full on this one. All right, cool. Let me just make a timestamp. 46 minutes around. So we'll do the Aaron Rodgers thing, and then. All right, cool. 3, 2, 1. Patreon.com/veterans minimum. George, what else we got on the agenda? Producer George, everybody.
Netflix is coming out with a banger documentary. Aaron Rodgers, Enigma. Have you seen the trailer, Nick?
I have not, no.
Okay. Well, everybody, if you haven't seen the trailer, you need to stop what you're doing right now and watch this trailer.
I live between two worlds of the extroverted
1, 2, 3, dominate!
and an introverted lover of silence. I'm trying to beat back Father Time and the expectations.
Aaron Rodgers ain't for everybody.
Rodgers has shared controversial and crazy conspiracy theories.
It just feels like you're either for him or against him.
Losing friendships, family, it was heartbreaking.
Here come the Jets.
Rodgers has something to prove.
It is on. Protection breaks. Down goes Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers has officially tore his Achilles.
It's catastrophic.
Is it time for him to retire?
What does the future hold for Aaron Rodgers?
I'm coming back to do it all.
What's the risk of playing? That's not normal.
People getting to see behind the curtain.
Have you thought about going into politics?
Once I started my spiritual journey, everything shifted.
The metamorphosis is happening.
Most people are not doing the walking.
I'm not most people. I'm trying to find what a new edge is. There's football legacy.
Rodgers, a touchdown!
And then there's character legacy.
It was gonna be the big dog with me!
When that ride comes to a stop, who are you gonna be?
Now that you've seen the trailer, Aaron Rodgers is obviously the craziest NFL quarterback that has ever walked the face of earth. The spiritualistic ayahuasca sessions mixed with the brain studying for his, I don't know, like the trailer leaves me wondering so many more questions. Of course, I'm going to watch it. Of course, it's going to be extremely boring once they get past him doing drugs. Like, I don't care. Bro, what am I going to watch? You go fucking 3 and 9? Is that episode 3? I'll skip that. But I'll watch you get fucked up in the jungle. That's going to be a great episode. But only Aaron Rodgers, after having this crazy year. You get the coach fired. You get the GM fired. You bring your boy in. You have a worse winning percentage than Zach Wilson. Only you could come out with a Netflix documentary. So good on him. No other player in NFL history could do this.
The timing on this is hilarious.
Of course. He wanted episode 3 to be them win the Super Bowl. You know, but I don't know. So couldn't pay for the script.
We played the trailer. We just watched the trailer. Immediately, I couldn't not laugh, bro. Like, that was peak white people shit.
Yeah,
he describes himself as amazing NFL quarterback, 4-time MVP, # free spirit. Because that was like free spirit, white people shit there.
Mm-hmm.
Ayahuasca and like going into the woods and yelling to release your demons. It's white people shit, bro.
Barefoot.
That's what I took from that. Barefoot too. I do jujitsu on barefoot. So like barefoot doesn't really upset me as much.
Barefoot in the jungle?
Barefoot in the jungle is kind of wild, yeah. There's like snakes and fucking iguanas and shit.
Here's the thing. When you have such a good time on drugs like that, because people say like, oh, ayahuasca like changed my life and everything. And it does. It does change your life. It makes you realize that it does not get better than what you just felt right there. And that's like Aaron Rodgers thought. He like compared. He's like winning a Super Bowl and ayahuasca. And he should have never done the ayahuasca. Because now ayahuasca is better than winning a Super Bowl. That is simple math. Dopamine 101. No matter how many Super Bowls you win, doing ayahuasca will always win. That's why people get hooked to these fucking drugs, bro. He's a druggie.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm a big fan of if you need to go out there, do your psychedelics. I want to one day do ayahuasca.
Are you getting bored of him?
Of course, everybody is. That's why this trailer coming out at this moment in time, to me, it seems like, hey, while I'm still relevant here for the last 4 weeks of the season, because you guys are for sure going to forget about my name after this, let me let you know that I have this coming out. Because if he does this in what, January?
Yeah.
Then it's even more like, bro, what are you doing? Or is it better to do it in January?
I don't know. I feel like you should probably strike while the iron's hot. And in his scenario right now.
Whoa. This is as hot as it's going to get, bro.
I mean, in a negative context for him, where like he's making headlines for how bad he's been playing.
Yeah.
And people are like, yo, bro, stop going on McAfee.
Mm-hmm.
Stop with the, all the shit around it. Like, oh, I don't think it's my fault. I think we could turn it around. Like, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't turn it around. So I think you should strike while the iron's hot, man. I want to just segue, just pivot a little bit, get into a different lane, staying on this. Give me a list of white people shit. Because you're not white, you're Hispanic, right?
Correct.
So like, what is like something you see and you're like, that's white people shit? Because to me, it's hikes.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you describe yourself as a free spirit. To me, that's a red flag. I don't want nothing to do with you.
Bring in chairs to a dog park. Going to a dog park's okay. Bringing chairs to a dog park, I'm like, that's some white people shit.
Really?
You're hanging out at a dog park that long?
That's a very good. Yeah. No, that's true.
That's white people shit.
That's true.
Looking for conversations. When you're not finding the conversation, just go give your knees a rest. Are
you that tired that you need a break from walking your dog for 12 minutes?
You fat fuck.
Yeah.
Get your ass up and walk.
Come on, bro.
Throw the ball to your dog. You're doing the same thing you're doing at home at the park, and your dog's sitting next to you. That's exactly what happens when I take my dog to the dog park. I can't sit, or else my dog doesn't do anything. It's a real issue.
Give me another
white people
white person.
Shit.
White person tendencies.
They freak out when the waiter doesn't bring the salad first, or like they bring the salad with the other food. They freak out on the waiter. That's white people shit. Like relax.
Yo, you know what I tell a lot of my friends? This is the ultimate sign, especially if you are a person of color and a white person tells you that I have a black friend. Red flag, bro. Run. Get the fuck out. Don't do it. And listen, I know I am a 100% white guy. I'm New York City white. That's always a disclaimer I need to make very clear. People that are from New York, they understand what I mean by that. When I meet people out here and they're like, oh, you're a white guy. I'm like, nah, not really. I'm from the city. It's way different. But like, yo, bro, I have a black friend. Stay away from that person. That is not, I've never had to say that because people just know who my friends are and they see me with who I'm with. And even growing up, it was always the case. Like, you never had to fucking establish that. That's a red flag. That's like top tier white people shit.
Bragging about how many Starbucks stars you have. I've heard that done, and that's strictly white people shit right there. They live and die by the Starbucks stars. That's, to me, you know, it fits into that category.
The number one white people shit quality.
Okay.
Instagram for their pets.
That is top of the list.
That is number one. That's Stop doing it. I'll never do it. I love Dars. That's my dog. No pun intended. Can't do it, bro.
I know this is a losing argument, but canned tuna to me just seems like white people shit.
Canned tuna sucks.
I like tuna.
I'd rather not eat,
tuna,
bro.
man.
I'd rather not eat than have canned tuna. Good on all that.
Oh, I would say like, damn, this is another controversial one. And this just, it looks shitty on me because I eat out a lot. But like, if you like pack your lunch in the morning and you have like a lunchbox, like, and you're like, you have the little ice pack for your lunchbox
to keep it cold.
Yeah. That is like peak.
Yeah, that is pretty rough.
Yeah, the ice pack's what sends it. And here's the thing, it's fucked up, but like, you know, yeah, that's just what I feel. I think blue collar. So
I also think kale is white people shit.
Oh yes.
Dude, people love kale. You're a fucking weirdo, bro. Like, listen, if you eat kale because it's like good for you, sure, I get it. But if you like brag that you love kale, you're a fucking loser. That shit is like, fuck that. That shit sucks. It's like the same people that tell you, oh, you know, we talked about this recently, the water jug, right? If you have a water jug with the times and like at 3 p.m. I should be up to here, fucking delete my number, bro. That shit is, I can't. White people shit too.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough. Let us know. White people shit power rankings. Give me one for sports. What's like a white people thing in sports? Because I know there's this stereotypes like during the drafts, right? Like,
I mean,
first guy in, last guy out. It's probably a white quarterback.
Anything like baseball players hustling in and out of the dugout, hustling near spot.
Oh my, wow, yes.
Yeah. That like sprint, you know, or just a healthy pace.
Yeah.
You don't see them walking it out. Like they're hustling from spot to spot. That's definitely it. In basketball, it would be
just a dude that sets mad screens.
For sure.
You know,
dives out of bounds.
Yeah.
Is looking to steal the inbounds pass at all times. Sneaky thief type. And in football, yeah, it's run into the locker room after the half.
I'm thinking of the draft day stereotypes that are hilarious. Quick, high motor guy is always a white dude.
First in, last out.
Yeah. Coach's kid, always a white dude. Test
sideline
faster.
Speed.
Yeah, tests faster than his pro day. It's a white guy.
High Wonderlic score.
But yo, Aaron Rodgers, man, that's just immediately where my mind went to. I was like, that's like peak white people shit. Just going and yelling into the woods and complaining about how difficult your life is, and just fucking stay away from me if that's your thing, bro.
How much do you think he's getting from this Netflix doc?
Oh, bro, millions. Dude, you know how much money Netflix documentaries make?
Probably a lot. I don't know. I always wonder with that. I feel like Netflix, once they opened up to being like their own studio, they've actually just been somewhat in the negative for a very long time. Remember they paid like Adam Sandler a shit ton of money to do like 8 movies only on Netflix over like a 8-year span. So like after they did that, I don't know. I feel like they do pay these people that money, but they're not as profitable as
Check this out. Netflix constantly wants fresh content, right? Like that's their thing. They don't want to do reruns. Their catalog, they're spending for unscripted documentary content an estimate of $1.1 billion by 2025.
Yeah, they're not making that shit back in subscriptions. I don't know how they're going to achieve that. Everybody's sharing the same password.
Yeah. Bro, the McMahon, did you watch the McMahon documentary?
No, you told me. You told me to.
Dude, as a lifelong wrestling fan, that shit was amazing. That shit was so fire. And that generated like high 8 figures. Because people want raw, authentic, fresh. They don't want repeats, right?
Yeah,
like,
but to me, it's okay. I know they've.
So that's why I think there's a lot of aura or mystique to the Aaron Rodgers documentary. So I find it interesting. Hopefully, we'll be in a documentary.
That would be nice, Nick.
That'd be fire. We might be in one. Maybe we'll put that one out there.
We sure are handsome enough for it.
As veterans minimum, the best sports betting vibe is flashing on the screen right now. Let us know. I'm always fascinated by these kind of conversations. Are you interested in Aaron Rodgers? Are you guys fed up? Because I think I'm a little salty that I had them so high. And that's like the only pick that's really fucking up my futures from the preseason. And it's the ultimate one, right? It's your Super Bowl pick.
Yeah.
And it's funny, bro. Like, I don't know if you've noticed this, but it's one of my favorite interactions that I get on a weekly basis. And I'll even have this from friends where, have you noticed that when you pick against a team, their fans fucking attack you for it? And then if that team ends up winning and you lose your bet, it's like the floodgates open.
Mm-hmm.
But those same fans, when you pick on their team and they lose, missing.
Where you at?
Where you at, bro?
Yeah.
Where you at? Because I'm getting cooked for saying the Steelers were going to go below 500. And then I picked the Bengals last week against Pittsburgh. Yeah, I just always, it's one of my favorite reactions.
Well, I'm just glad that we are developing like this type of community. I feel like I'm starting to see the true fans from everybody's teams like come out and give us a tongue lashing via the comment section. So I'm all for it. It is kind of funny, but then again, I only really look, Nick, at least for the past 3 days, about Aziz Al-Shire's hit. I'm in like 6 Twitter, Instagram comment section kind of bouts right now. And I never do that. So like, that's all I'm focused on.
Do you find yourself going down random rabbit holes? Like on it? Cause so now it's the Aziz hit, right?
Yeah.
Like what's like the weirdest one you've just been fascinated by? And when you tell people, they laugh at you, but you just can't get enough of it.
Underwater welding. Out in the middle of the ocean on like oil rigs when guys are jumping off in scuba suits to weld underwater. Still, that shit doesn't make sense to me, bro. How are we able to weld
underwater, right?
And it's wet. It's crazy to me. These guys get paid insane money, as they should. That's white people shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is pretty much. You know what?
Deep sea.
You know what my favorite guilty
welding
pleasure is? Have I told you this? My favorite guilty pleasure?
No.
Gender reveals.
You like gender reveals?
I can't explain why. Maybe because I had.
That's so fucking funny,
bro.
That's hilarious.
Listen, I'll go down fucking lengthy rabbit holes of just gender reveals. My algorithm got cooked. My algorithm got cooked for something else too, which I can't say because I really love my job. The guys in the control room know exactly what I'm talking about, but maybe one day we'll make it a Patreon exclusive. I go down gender reveals, bro. I'm a sucker for it. I want to have kids really bad. I'm starting to get baby fever. Nowhere near a girlfriend or a wife. I always get trolled like for when I went back home in October. I had dinner with a bunch of family members, and they're all like, "Yo, you'll be 34 in March. Like, when are you gonna have some kids?" I'm like, "Yo, kids is easy. I can pop 2 or 3 out, no problem. It's who I'm gonna have a kid with that's gonna be the issue."
Facts.
So, what do you guys want? You guys want to have grandkids and shit? You guys want to have nieces and nephews? Cool, we could do that. It's gonna be a lot of chaos. It's gonna follow after. So I'm just hoping, man, a couple more years, maybe me and Isaiah go down to Medellin and we figure out everything over there. Pop 2 or 3 down there. Operation James Rodriguez.
Wow.
You know, a nice Colombian.
I love that you're using
American.
the term pop.
Yeah,
Pop 'em.
Pop 1 or 2 out.
Hey.
Yeah, you know,
Pop.
it'll be all right. It'll be all right. So yeah, gender
Wow.
reveals, mad random. I know. My one friend Josh back home, shouts to Josh. He goes, "You're fucking weird, bro."
Yeah, that's honestly some of my least favorite content. I
like
can't-
when it's like flat. Like, bro, there was a dude out here in Vegas. Shouts to Chris Moorhan. He was at it and he posted it, and I even commented on it. He made the Luxor turn blue. That's fucking gangster, bro. So if you guys are not familiar with the Luxor Hotel in Vegas, it's the pyramid. And there's a huge fucking beam that shoots up into the sky. And the fucking dude did a gender reveal and it like blew.
Yeah.
And it was just
and it like blew.
Yeah.
It's like the beam in
beam.
Sacramento.
Yeah, like the beam. Bro,
Hit
just like that.
beam.
Bro, and it was
It
I
was a
like,
boy.
yo, that's the coolest shit ever. You know?
Or so they thought.
Yeah. Like I've seen the
In this
jiu-jitsu ones where it's like a pink belt and a blue belt and they're rolling and whoever gets the submission, that's what gender it is. I wonder what mine would have to be something.
So now this is actually a huge piece of content for you.
Yeah.
You may be investing more into this than, let's say, like the baby's initial college fund.
Like I think mine would have to be something where like I throw a football and I have like big targets.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if you recently saw Tom Brady did a throwing competition with some like the #1 high school quarterback on Mr. Beast's channel. That was
Okay.
pretty dope. So they had these like huge ass balloons that were probably the size of this table. And they had one 10, 20, 30, 50 yards, 40, 50 yards, right? And he went one throw, he did another. So I would do something like that where I have to hit the target and then when it explodes. That's what I think mine will be. It'll be something football.
Wow.
I don't want to do like jujitsu where, you know, like I would want to do something that's like kind of different.
So I just have to ask now, are you more so into the way that the reveal happens, or are you just into pregnant chicks?
No, I'm more into how the reveal happens.
Because I do think a woman is at her like most beautiful state, or so it's been told, that their body as it's going through this process, like, you know, they're pretty.
Yeah.
So I just needed to know. I was like,
No,
maybe
for me,
it's
more. I'm more
maybe you're just
fascinated
infatuated
of
with like,
the,
oh, that's
the creativity,
pregnant
like
lady.
getting creative with like my same friend Josh, who thinks that it's weird that I do this stuff. He did Muay Thai mitts because he does Muay Thai with his lady, and on the last one, it exploded and it was blue. So like I'm more fascinated by the creativity of it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Interesting.
Kind of weird, but I am also going to be 34 years old in March, and I just watched Survivor Series last weekend. So I still watch wrestling. Everyone got weirdo shit that they're into.
You should find somebody on LinkedIn, bro.
On LinkedIn?
Yeah.
I need to find, bro, I'm about
Find
to
somebody there.
Nah, listen. And I'm going to post this too. I'm back on the apps.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'm back. Bro.
Nikki Apps.
I'm back on the apps. The one photo that I posted, it's a 50 Cent and Cameron. That's my picture on the app.
You've now entered the level of that's a fake profile. You got to be very careful with that level of stardom.
Yo, can I tell you a funny story? I haven't told this story. This is a true story too.
Yeah.
It ties into the fake profile thing, but kind of. So a girl I was talking to here in Vegas, someone made a profile on Instagram portraying me and asked her for money. Now, this girl has my cell phone number. She gave this person money.
What an idiot.
And then she called me.
Wow.
So immediately, I don't know how to not be honest and not be transparent. I was like, are you fucking stupid? Like, why didn't you call me and ask me if it was me? Clearly, it wasn't.
Right.
I haven't asked someone for money since I was like, I don't know, 21, 22. And I wasn't even making money then, right? So, like, I was like, dude, this is probably why it didn't work out between us, because you're dumb as shit. Like, how do you fall for that? That'd be like someone asking you, making a profile and asking you on my behalf, yo, Nick, I need some money, George. Wouldn't you call me and be like, yo, there's everything? I'd be like, bro, no, it's not fucking me.
If you can't identify a fake profile,
you deserve to get scammed.
Red flag.
Yes, red flag, and you deserve it. I saw this entrepreneur kid got scammed $25,000 by one of these entrepreneur bros, and he was like crying on the TikTok and help and all that. Me? You deserve it. If you're that dumb, you deserve it.
Yeah.
I have no sympathy for you, bro.
Sometimes it is hidden sometimes. Like crazy amounts of money, tech bro, it seems like it would be a little more convincing than some, like there's an AI voice of your grandma calling you. It's like, I need money right now. That shit. If you fall for that, it's like.
But bro, if you get a phone call and it's my voice, but it's not my number.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are we doing?
Correct.
That's what I'm saying. She had my number.
Yeah.
She knows me.
Oh, trust me.
We're still friendly. We're still friends. We just don't talk, like it just didn't work out, and we didn't want to date one another, and that was cool. And like I'm a believer that guys and girls could be friends. You don't need to fuck everybody. You can just be friends with them. And that's what happened. So it kind of reminded me of what you just said now. Are you ready to get to picks? Because I feel like this has been a wild episode.
It has been a wild episode. And there was like a topic that we skipped that was entirely about love and shit too. So like, I can't wait to eventually get to that one, because
I feel like how we took the pod, it would have been perfect, but we need to wrap.
Oh, of course.
And get to the picks, but it would be.
No, this is what the people come for.
Yeah. Okay, week 14. If you guys didn't watch the Monday show, the Monday winner was the Packers. If you guys listen to this early enough, or if you're not following me on Instagram or Veterans Minimum on Instagram, we've already put it. The Packers are winning outright. I really do think they're going to win outright. That's actually going to be my Becky. I just want to reiterate that and say that the Packers on the money line is my pick at plus 150. And just for using this game, George, as an example, I think it's very important. We talked about it with the Niners. And I think in sports betting, what happens a lot of times is we fall in love with the past. San Francisco, they went to a Super Bowl. They've been one of the best teams the last 4 or 5 years with this core. But it's not the same core. I say all that because the Lions are down 15 players that they had week 1.
Jeez.
15 players that they had week 1 are now out of the lineup since. 7 starters from week 1 on defense are out. In total, 11 defensive starters. Guys that replaced them also went down. I think you're catching them at a bad time right now. If you are the Lions and you're a Lions fan and backer, if you're the Packers, this is where you want to catch them.
Right.
I still think Detroit is going to win the division. I picked Green Bay to make the Super Bowl despite being a wild card team. So it's playing out the way I thought it would. But I think it's a great matchup. I think the Packers are the only team in the league that can beat you in every aspect of football. Ground and pound, defensively, special teams. Jordan Love could go out there and throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
They could beat you in many different ways. And I just think that the Lions, you're catching them at a good time right now. And I say all that because, bro, what this team was 3 weeks ago and what they are now is completely different. You got to factor in cluster injuries. You got to factor in big name players that are not going to be in the lineup. And offensively, they're going to be fine. But defensively, I think this game is going to be a shootout.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the over, and I like the Packers on the money line. So that's my Becky. Are you upset that I'm picking the Thursday game for this?
No, why would I be upset about this? I think
maybe
you gave
for
it
Sunday.
out. No,
Yeah.
you gave it out early. I put on the clip today, Monday winner on a Wednesday for Thursday. So people are well aware that it was announced on Monday. And if you don't listen to the episode as soon as it drops, make sure that you guys are hitting the notification buttons on all the platforms. But no, of course I'm not upset with that. I mean, I think it's developed a lot of controversy on social media today. A lot of people are calling you an idiot, but I think that those people that are commenting, calling you an idiot, are also Detroit Lion lovers and bandwagon fans.
And they
have a lot of bandwagon fans.
And that happens a lot, especially when they're a team that's been so dominated against the spread also. Like, think of how many times they've gotten 80% of the tickets and they're covering. What happens? They become a public team. They're a very public team. They're the Super Bowl favorite right now at plus 290. Crazy times. But here's the thing, right? Defensive injuries. At what point are we like, bro, it's just a lot. It's a lot to overcome. Hutchinson, Davenport, Kaminsky, Pecco already out. Onwuzurike, Pascal, DJ Reader, they're all questionable. Anzalone on IR with Malcolm Rodriguez. And then his replacement at linebacker tore his ACL last week. It's just adding up a lot. So that's why I really like Green Bay. And just for betting purposes in general, it's something that you need to factor in. How you perceive the team week 3 and what they are now. And it could be in reverse too. Maybe in week 3 they were trash, but now they're getting hot.
Yeah,
which we'll get to in just a little bit. But yeah, I just wanted to double down on Becky. I have a pretty substantial bet on them, man. It's a lot for someone like me. It's like 4 units that I have on the Packers on the money line too.
Wow,
we're all like Monday nights, baby.
It's going to be a great start to the weekend for you.
Yeah.
We do need to start picking Thursday games more. I've been avoiding them, but sometimes they have been the best play of the week, like it is this week. I do think there's another play on the list, though, that constitutes that same level of love. How do the Bills not go embarrass the Rams? They're 3.5-point favorites traveling to SoFi. The Bills are on a historic run. Since 2000, Nick, only 5 teams have had longer 30-point streak than Buffalo. It's the 2020 Bucks, the 2012 Broncos, the 2010 Patriots, 07 Patriots, and the 2000 Rams. They are putting up unrealistic numbers, but it's because they have a leader that is doing it all. Josh Allen, I need him to perform well because we need him to win this MVP award. I think he goes off. It's something to track here that the Bills have been really successful. They've been on a 7-game straight up win streak when traveling from East Coast to West Coast. So they aren't necessarily hurting from that. It's a great football team. James Cook is playing well. The Rams they struggled last week with the Saints. And this is a Rams team that me and you both have bought a lot of stock into as far as their assets for the future. Jared Verse is a absolute game wrecker. They move him around everywhere on the defense, Nick. He just goes and picks whichever offensive lineman he wants to go embarrass. So it's not like the Rams are a bad team. They're just catching the Bills at their absolute best. And they're going to struggle to stop them. -3.5, which means if you were to put them at home, they're 9-point favorites. Yeah.
My question with Buffalo always is, what do you think of their opponent? Do you think the Rams are a good team?
No. Not after last week's performance.
Despite the win.
Correct.
Right. So the reason why I asked that is because since 2020, Josh Allen is 29-4 straight up against teams below 500, and he wins by close to 2 touchdowns. Remember what we said with the Titans handicap. Remember what we said with the Niners handicap. When Josh Allen plays bad teams, he violates them. I'm I was going with toxic one for this one, bro.
Really?
Yeah, it just seems like we saw them dominate a perceived good team in the Niners, a very public team in the Niners. Josh Allen MVP, Bills year, James Cook, the snow. I'm just going to stay away from this one.
And that's rightfully so. I think people blew out of proportion that snow game just because it was so awesome and it was an ass whooping and it was the only thing on TV. That's the primetime effect.
I'm also worried that it's 3.5. Like, why isn't this 5? Why, despite it being in LA, where look, the Rams don't have the greatest home field advantage, and I don't know how many Bills fans are on the West Coast. But for me, it's my toxic one. I can't touch this game. If you want to throw the Bills in like a parlay as a money line, I'm cool with that. But that 3.5 sitting there, it just screams fishy. It screams fishy because it happens every week. Every week there's a line, and we fell for the trap last week. Like, bro, how did the Raiders keep this game close? Talking mad shit about the Chiefs. We beat them in Arrowhead, and then bam, what happens, right? And then it also happened with the Seahawks. Like, dude, we should just bet the Seahawks. But nah, it was just sketchy, dude. They fumbled back-to-back kickoffs. So that's what I mean by toxic one. We're not, and I've been keeping track of toxic one, right? It's 7-7 on the year. Basically, if you take them or you fade them, it's kind of the same concept as far as like you're staying away from it. Like, I'd rather just stay away. I'd feel dumb holding that ticket is basically what I mean. So I'm going to disagree a little bit with you.
Okay. I really do think that this is the Bills' first step in this second half of the season that really is hey, we can go anywhere in the country and go embarrass teams. And they need to do that if they want to be that Super Bowl contender that they where are they listed? Third in the odds right now to win the Super Bowl. So you want to bump yourself up, you got to do that. I'm going to save my in this economy, bro. It's a really good one. My toxic one, though.
Okay.
And you can back me up on this. Saints versus the Giants.
Yeah.
-3.5. Drew Lock will be getting the start. This is a fishy place for the Saints because Derek Carr, so the Saints are traveling to the Giants.
Yes.
Derek Carr in cold weather is equally as bad as Tua is, if not worse. And sure, he's just been on shit teams, so the numbers look skewed, but he really has not played well in the cold. Do they get the run game going with Dexter Lawrence being out? That's what I'm hoping for. I would stay far away from the Giants and Drew Lock actually trying, because he is. You could see him coming off the sideline after some of the mistakes he made last week, and he's like got that I'm trying to earn my next contract mentality, and that's dangerous this late in the season. That has backdoor cover written right across his forehead. Stay away.
I mean, I would probably. This is borderline Ursulita.
Saints.
Yeah, I mean, you can't back the Giants,
right?
No way, no way. But yeah, no, I like this one for toxic, bro. For your toxic one, I like this one. Can I give you a? I'm gonna save my Trust Me for the main event because Trust Me is 10-3 on the year. So
that's what the people want.
Yeah, let's end with that one. I'm gonna go in this economy.
Okay,
bro. Explain this to me, George. 'Cause I'm having trouble here. I don't understand it. How is Tampa Bay just a 6-point favorite against the Raiders?
Yeah,
this is borderline toxic also because it just doesn't make sense, right? There's 2 games this week that I don't understand. Why is Tampa Bay only 6 points favored over the Raiders? And why is Miami a 6-point favorite over the Jets in Miami? I think both teams have quit. I think both teams don't want to win. I think the Raiders just want to have Brock Bowers break all these records, which he should. Like, that's like
Yeah.
the biggest bright spot. You know, they got laughed at from taking him because they're like, why the fuck are they taking a tight end? And now he's like on a generational run, the position that he plays. So those are the two that I just can't understand, bro. But I'm probably going to bet on both of them. And in this economy, for me, it's a 2-leg parlay of Bucks and Miami -6. You get plus 210 on that if you parlay them too. So in this economy, Bucks and Dolphins -6. A little double dip for you over there.
Double whammy.
Yeah.
And it's both games that can easily just get blown out of proportion real quick. But I think the reason why the Raiders are priced like that is because Aiden O'Connell was a literal mental mistake away from defeating a contender for this year's Super Bowl. It's crazy how KC's faded. They were a team that I looked at this week and I was like, man, do I back them? Like, of course, it's divisional. Like, they're going to step up. I don't know what to feel about it. Until further notice, Nick, I think we should do this for the podcast.
What are we doing?
The Chiefs are on permanent toxic notice.
Ooh.
They are definitely not covering week in and week out. We think they're good. They're fucking got close games to Bryce Young and Aiden O'Connell. Baker, after having to sue his father behind closed doors, goes in there and almost gets a victory. They are on permanent toxic watch until further notice. Probably until the playoffs. And then we will remove the lock. You down?
I'm down because you know what the main event is this week?
What?
Trust me, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, it's coming.
The LA Chargers plus 3.5.
That's a great pick.
Let me read you some things. You ready for this?
I am.
It's gonna get you a little horned up.
All right.
Justin Herbert as an underdog of more than 3 points in his career. 10-2-1 against the spread.
Oof.
That includes 6-1-1 against the AFC West. Pat Mahomes, when favored of 3.5 or more points since 2020. The worst of any QB in the NFL by a large margin. $100 better is down $1,700 if they bet the Chiefs as 3.5 point favorites or more in this run since 2020. He's 24-39-2 against the spread. I think, to your point, you're catching them at a good time. The Chargers just always play them tough. They covered earlier in the year. I believe they were in this economy. They were like 7.5 point underdogs at home. Now they're 3.5 point underdogs on the road. But the way they want to play, you keep Mahomes on the sideline, slow paced. I love this spot here. I kind of always take Justin Herbert. If I could get 3.5 or more, look at that trend, bro.
Yeah.
Look at that trend. 10-2-1 against the number in his career. And then he's 6-1-1 against the AFC West. Trust me, 10-3 on the year. The LA Chargers 3.5. Kind of pivots off what you were saying about the Chiefs being toxic.
They are. They're on permanent toxic watch. Made me look like a idiot on Black Friday. I'll never forget that. I will never forget that, Patrick. So you better make me a lot of money this postseason. I will go now with trust me, Nick. Vikings -5.5 versus the Falcons.
I fucking love this pick.
This is a revenge game, a big game for Mr. Kirk Cousins. The lights just always seem to be a little too bright for him, especially as of recently. Ever since 3 weeks ago, he has not thrown a touchdown pass. He's thrown 6 interceptions. Over the last 5 seasons, Kirk Cousins is 16-30 against the spread, playing indoor games, including 7-16 against the spread over the last 3 seasons. Since 2020, Kirk Cousins is last out of 92 quarterbacks against the spread playing indoors. He's played indoors a lot. He's just bad. And this is a really bad time for the Atlanta Falcons. People are throwing out, do we start Penix? They have a legitimate chance. If I'm not mistaken, they're still the favorites to win the NFC South. It is asinine to think that you should be having a quarterback controversy amidst you guys being able to make a run to the playoffs. All those woes being said, this is more so you fade the Falcons than you're like in love with the Vikings. But Vikings, if you are a legitimate team, take care of business this week. People have beat up on the NFC South all year. You need to do the same.
I love this pick. I didn't want to bet it or highlight it only because I'm worried that they're down like 17 at halftime and they put Penix in. And then that's the only thing that worries me about this game, because
I just don't think they will, though.
There's a lot of games this week that all fit the criteria of in this economy, but are also borderline toxic. Like I said before, I don't understand why Miami's a 6-point favorite. The Jets have quit. I don't understand why the Bucks, who have a lot to play for, they're 6-point favorites at home against the Raiders, who they're tanking now, right? Mm-hmm. And then this game too. Why is Minnesota not? I think Minnesota should be a 7-point favorite.
I agree.
Atlanta has looked abysmal. And they're going to blitz the shit out of Kirk Cousins because he can't move.
Of course.
So I think this should be a rout.
It's a money spot. You got to love the Vikings here. And I don't think they will take him out. I think Kirk Cousins literally has 4 interceptions this game, and he would stay in. To save, I think Raheem Morris would understand what that means for his legacy and his career. I mean, you have pretty much tainted whatever sort of legacy that Kirk Cousins has ever had if you bench him in the same stadium in which he made his name. I guess twice. He made his name in for the Redskins as well. But that's my trust me. I'll hit you with my Ursulita, and then I saved the main event because it's a lock this week, Nick. In this economy, Ursulita, the Bears +4. You had given it out, or you had mentioned it on Monday.
Yep.
It's definitely a motivated team, and I think after losing a coach like Eberflus, it's bonded them in something. I think it's bonded them in something that can at least cover a 4-point spread. I don't like them outright here, but I love them with the points. So the Bears +4 this week, Ursulita.
I'm in.
Did you have an Ursulita? Oh, okay. Is that going to be Ursulita?
My Ursulita this week, I'm going to betray them. I like Dallas at home Monday night against the Bengals.
Wow. Watch the AFC North Hard Knocks. It'll change your mind.
Yeah. Then I'll be in.
Bro, they're so good. The Bengals are so good.
They're nasty. Like I said on Monday, he has as many losses this year in which his team, Joe Burrow, has scored more than 33 points than Tom Brady did his whole career. So how crazy of a year he's having. And then it's funny because I saw this graphic of Josh Allen versus Lamar MVP. And Burrow's numbers are through the roof. But then he's 4-8.
Right.
I just think that this is a wacky game. I would not bet it. Cooper Rush, 7-point underdog or more, 5-0 against the spread. So I would just stay away from that. It's crazy, man. He has 30 touchdowns.
Cooper covers, bro.
Cooper covers.
Cooper covers.
Joe Burrow has 30 pass TDs, 5 interceptions through 12 games this year. 7 quarterbacks with 30-plus touchdowns and 5 fewer interceptions. Their records up until this point. Ready for this? Brady, 07, 12-0. Rodgers, 2011, 12-0. Rodgers, 2014, 9-3. Breeze, 10-2 in 2018. Mahomes in 2020, 11-1. Rodgers in 2020, 9-3. Joe Burrow, 2024, 4-8.
Crazy.
This has only happened 7 times. And he's the only one that has a shit fucking record.
Yeah. You can tell in the doc that Joe Burrow is he's him. Like, you cannot lose him and Jamar Chase. And that's become abundantly clear for the past 2 years, obviously. But you're going to have to do some serious cash finding and team restructuring to ensure that you never lose that, because I think, bro, like, they have such a good bond, they'll go leave together. Jamar leaves to a team with like a bad quarterback. Jamar says, Joe, let's just
I feel you.
Just get out of your
It's just
contract.
that they've already paid Burrow.
I know. I just, something to me, just I feel like they can work something out, you know?
I think they keep him.
Yeah.
I think they keep Chase. I think Higgins is going to be the odd man out because, like, that's his man's. That's his boy.
It has
He's going to keep Chase. And also, they're more dynamic together, too. Let's not get it twisted. When Higgins doesn't play, Chase still balls out. When Higgins plays and Chase don't play, Higgins don't do as well. So the main focal point of that offense is Jamar Chase. So
you're betting against him.
I'm just
You're saying
Ursulita. I think Cowboys. Yeah, I don't really have a Ursulita. I just have a shitload of toxic ones.
Yeah,
a lot of toxic ones. So,
in this economy,
good
main event. Another Saints player. I'm crystal balling that this is going to happen. Alvin Kamara for the last 6 weeks has not scored a touchdown.
Bro,
he's had
fucking love
133 touches over the last 6 weeks. It's not like he's injured, people. He just cannot get into the end zone. This week, him to score 2 or more touchdowns plus 350. If you are feeling froggy,
leap
16-1, three or more touchdowns. Alvin Kamara, take us home. I will have accurately predicted 2 Saints players to score multiple touchdowns in a game. I did it with Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill on the IR, so I know he's not going to be getting any surprise goal line carries. This is one of those games, dude, where Alvin Kamara just, he loves to shit on the NFC East. He scored 5 touchdowns on Christmas against the Cowboys last year. He loves playing the NFC East. He's going to do it again. And I think he did it to the Cowboys earlier this year. He scored 4 touchdowns on them. Like I said, he is going to score a touchdown regardless. Bet the latter, though. In this economy, AK-41.
So I was looking at a really sneaky bet for this proposition here, but it was a little bit different. I think the matchup for anytime touchdown TD parlay, we haven't done one in a while, just because I've been forgetting. But a lot of people are like, yo, bro, like, yeah, the parlays haven't hit, but like you guys are going 3 out of 4,
right?
2 out of 4 with one guy scoring 2 touchdowns. So let's get one out there. So I was putting together one that I really, really like, and it's Tyrone Tracy, because the 2 worst teams against the run are playing each other this week. It's the Saints and the Giants, and the Giants just lost Dexter Lawrence, who's the only great player on that defense, unlike Brian Burns. So I like Tracy for 1 touchdown. I like Kamara for 2 touchdowns. And then I like Justin Jefferson to finally score a touchdown. He's gone pretty quiet the last couple of weeks. And a parlay of those 3 players, we need 4 touchdowns in total. The payout, George, comes out to, as I just lost service, 20-1. 20-1. Justin Jefferson, Tracy, and then Kamara to score twice. 20-1. What do you think?
I'm in love with it. I wanted to toss in another receiver.
Let's do it. Let's get crazy, bro.
I have another receiver that I feel like hasn't gotten in the end zone. Oh, he did against the Panthers. DeAndre Hopkins. He's got 1 touchdown this year.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Let's stay with that. Let's stay with that.
Yeah,
Let's not get crazy.
Yeah.
So Kamara, because we need Kamara to score twice, Tracy, and then we need Justin Jefferson to finally score. That's the bet right there. 20-1 odds. Kamara 2 touchdowns against the Giants, Tracy in the same game to score a touchdown against the Saints, and then Justin Jefferson. $100 wins you $2,000. And if you do like, expecting at least a $10 tier in Patreon.
Come on now.
Come on now.
Do it.
Let's do it. George, Thank you for producing the show today.
Yeah, no problem, Nick.
Kind of had a rough day today. A lot of chaos going on, but we made it through.
That's why we started off with the NBA, because you had to get it off your chest too.
Yeah, I had to,
you were like, this weak ass NBA shit, bro.
I didn't lift. I didn't slap on a Darce today. I was going through withdrawals. So I was a little cranky. White people shit. They like to say that they're cranky. I'm cranky today. I didn't nap. Fucking losers.
Peeved is another one.
Peeved.
I'm peeved right now.
George, let the people know where they can find you on social media.
At Mr. George Carmona is where you could find me. The Pin and Pull podcast today announced my brother's return to Arkansas for the 2025 season. Run that shit back. They're going to win a natty next year. Stay tuned.
Bro, that's so fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
That's so sick. I got to come to a game.
Oh,
I didn't come to no games this year, but I definitely got to come to a game next year.
And whatever the night game is, I definitely realize that the night games are, they're electric.
We got to go to like a banger, bro.
Oh, all the night games are only bangers.
Only bangers, yeah. Only bangers. At Nick Day is 10 as you can find me. All things Veterans Minimum or at Veterans Minimum. Good luck this week on your picks. Chime in on the conversations that we had. Hit us up on all social media outlets at Veterans Minimum. And hit us on the Discord. Join the Patreon. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace.
In his element, I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course, be the venison. Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be killed.